Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inquiries here. Thought I would do a quick video on how to set up the vehicle safety features and a little bit about the 10.25 infotainment system. Some of this information will move over to the smaller screened Seltos and very similar to the Telluride. Other vehicle features, what I'm going to touch on here, will actually kind of transition into other Kia models. So if you're looking at this, then you kind of go into it. So when we get in here and we fire up the Seltos, there's a couple things. The more that the vehicle idles, if you turn it on in the system, the vehicle can actually shut itself off after 30 minutes of idling if that becomes an issue. But in all the Kia models up here, you're going to see kind of this little bar where it says range. Now if you push this little, I guess, folder button, you're going to see the menus pop up here. Now there's one where it talks about the fuel economy, and this is where you're going to get your trip information, what kind of drive mode it's in, transmission temp on this one. If we hit it again, it's going to go into the GPS, kind of like the little compass, if you will. And basically, if you have navigation in the car itself, when you're using it, the prompts will actually come up in here, which is pretty cool. Then the last one, this one, if you see the little highway looking thing, this is for your lane keep assist features. And as you scroll through here, you can reset your attention level. This will show you kind of where the power is going to each wheel, and then your tire pressure, which has to be driven to show it. But if we go back here, and if you can ever see down here where it says hold to go into settings, you're going to come back here to your steering wheel, push OK. I'm sorry, hold it. Got to follow the directions. And this is where you can go into some of your driver's assist features. Highway driving assist is basically for your cruise control. Highway auto curve slowdown. So if you're using your cruise control, the car will, your smart cruise control, it will actually slow down on curves. And if we go back and we hold this again, we can go into warning timing and warning volume. If that's the only menu options you can choose here, then the rest of your vehicle is going to be set up through your infotainment system. So no matter how you get here, you can either hit your menus and go through it that way, or you can go through here and just kind of scroll through and hit setup, then your vehicle. And this is where you're going to come in, and I would just recommend just starting at the top and going through each one. So for driver's assist, we're going to driver convenience. So again, we have the highway driving assist. So sometimes in the Kia models, it's very specific, and most of your options for your vehicle setup are only going to be here. In my GT line Stinger, it was all right here. There was very little in the infotainment system itself. But in this one, it bleeds over here, so you can go through here and basically do that. And like I said, I would just go through them in order. So if you want your warning timing to be later or normal, your warning volume, I like it low because it's also giving you feedback in the vibrating steering wheel. Driver attention warning, you can go through all this. Forward safety active assist, I like the active assist, meaning it stops your vehicle from having a collision. Lane keep assist, I like the lane keeping assist. The lane departure warning is just a chime. This actually helps keep you in there. Blind spot safety, like this feature. Active assist basically prevents the vehicle from your vehicle from actually changing lanes if you try and make a lane change and the thing actually senses something behind you. Parking safety, rear cross traffic alert, like that a lot. This vehicle doesn't have front sensors or rear sensors. It has all of the other detection stuff in it, so it will actually help prevent you from backing out into somebody. So once you're done with this menu, you can just go back one, and then you can go in here to your climate. Automatic ventilation is for your heater control stuff and the temperature you set it to. I like this defrost option. Basically, if you remote start it from your app or whatever, it'll actually automatically defrost. It'll also switch on its own while you're driving. So if you're engaged in conversation, whatever, it'll actually switch to the defroster mode itself. If we go to lights, this is where you're going to do your headlight delay, the doors, the unlock, and how you like to have it pressed. Cluster, this is where you can do your content selection, what you want to see in your actual screen right here. So if you don't like certain things, you can. If you don't like the little bump, 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 welcome sound, you can turn that off. Then we go over here to convenience, rear occupant alert. That lets you know that to check your seats when you get out. I don't use auto rear wiper in reverse. I just think when there's dirt on the back window, I don't like that. Wireless charging system, that's where you'll turn it off. And then here's where the automatic vehicle shut off, where you can actually just turn it off. I have it set at 30. Not that that becomes an issue, but just in case, I guess if it ever got started in the garage inadvertently by, you know, remote start and that failed, it would then bleed over and stop that. So when you get into here, this is where you're going to get everything else. You can set up your user profiles. You can do you, your guest, or loved one, something like that. Sound, this is where you're going to come in here and basically set up your treble and bass, but you can also do that through the radio menu. Voice recognition, you can change that to just like your cell phone if you like the prompts and everything like that. Your device connections, this is where you're going to set up all your, you know, which phones, which one's going to take priority. You can add predefined messages and everything like that. We went to vehicle, that already sets up navigation. This is where you'll go in here and actually set up the kind of information that you want. Like on your map, do you want it 3D? You can choose from different colors of, you know, depending on how your eyes enjoy seeing stuff on the screen, because the screen's really bright at night. Point of interest display, I click all of them just because it'll show up actually on the map. Even if you're not using the navigation, you'll see it. Another thing that's really cool about this little car is if you use the app will actually email if you're low on fuel, and it'll ask you, do you want me to find nearby gas stations? I just think it's really, really cool. And I know that some of the lower models may not have a lot of these features. However, they're going to have a lot of these in-vehicle setups and stuff like that. If we go back over here, if we go back to the main screen, you can move these widgets however around that you prefer. But like on this map, if you have all those clicked and you're driving along, you're like, oh man, I'm getting kind of hungry, and you really don't want to search, you can actually see the little icons on the map for Subway, Walmart, whatnot. I like the weather app that's on here. It'll tailor itself if you set it up in the screens when you do your phone setup. That it'll actually find it based on your geolocation of that. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, those only show up if you need it and plugged into it. The sound mood lamp is kind of a cool feature. Now this little button down here, you can actually program to whatever you like. If we cruise through here, set up, if I remember right. Okay, so right here is where you're going to find the custom button or the star button. If you click on this, you can actually program it to whatever you push this button once, it's going to bring up automatically whatever one of these that you pick. Now, you may feel like there might be more quick things, but some people just want to be able to shut the display off without having to go a couple sub menus down. You just hit that, the screen shuts off. I have it set for the mood lamp, just because that way I can quickly jump into here and pick a different color or whatever. So do like that, but it is customizable. Now when we go in here to radio, whoops, my bad. You can set this up to take as many presets as you like. So if you go to if you go into your presets, you can choose up to 40. I'm trying to remember where the heck those are at. There's a lot of stuff that goes into these, but one thing that was somewhat confusing when you're in here is trying to figure out how to save a preset versus other cars. There would be an empty slot here and you'd have to push and hold it and then set. It's actually this star. So when you get to a station you like, whether it's XM, AM, or FM, you just hit a star and it'll put it within sequential order of that. Oh, sorry, this is where we find it. Nope, that's not where we find it. Well, there is a place. Oh, I'm confused. On this one, you just keep filling up your presets until you get there. My wife's Telluride has a list where you can choose up to like 40 or 50 presets. So I'm confusing the two. So I do hope that this kind of helped in your user interface time with setting up your vehicle. And again, when you set up the profile specifically on this screen in this level, it will remember what you set it up as. So then the next user, a guest or a loved one or whatever, whoever else might be driving this, they can get in there, they'll click on that little icon, it says you'll change user, and it'll actually come up when you first start it. It'll bring up the users and who's programmed in here. You would just go in here and click this. You can see that I have the missus, and then I also have a guest, and if I clicked her profile, it says switching user profile, and that goes from radio stations all to the safety tech, and then the person can also choose a different icon if they chose to. So hopefully this helps, guys, and drive safe out there.